Boston is playing the Knicks, Golden State playing Phoenix, the Lakers playing OKC. We're going to tell you how to bet every single one of those three NBA games. Plus, we're going to tell you how to bet the Houston-Seattle baseball game. We have an Indian Premier League pick for you as well in cricket. Carmine Bianco will talk Champions League. He's going to tell you how to bet the PSG Aston Villa game. Andy Lang with some prop bets. Gianni the Greek. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching WagerTalk Today, the best daily sports betting show on the planet. We got a jam-packed show. 6 different guests. Gianni, Andy, Steve, Hakeem, Paul Motty, and Carmine Bianco. Let's get to it. Skee Profit joining us. My brother from another mother. How are you?
I feel better. I drank a lot with everybody out in Vegas last night, and at the end of the game, I felt I needed to drink a little bit more. So recovery this morning.
Okay, well, there you go. But you had a fun night last night?
I did, absolutely. Always good to hang out and see everybody.
Excellent. I'm glad that you had that opportunity. Let's get into some betting information right off the bat. Skee. Boston is playing the New York Knicks tonight. Boston plus 1.5. New York Knicks, if you're going to bet them, I'd prefer it on the money line, minus 120. The total here is over 221.5. How do we attack this game?
Yeah, I want to look at it more from a total perspective than the side because I mean, neither one of these teams necessarily has too much to play for. The Knicks do still need to win one more game to stay locked into their 4th seed, I believe. But I'll look at the total because I'm just looking at how these teams have been playing lately. Last 5 games, Celtics are playing the slowest pace in the league. Knicks not far behind them at 25th, top 5 defensive rated team in that span. And you just look at the Knicks. I mean, they've gone under in 5 straight games. They're locked in on that defensive side of the ball. The Celtics, they're so far ahead of the next person in the standings. I am unsure how much effort you're going to get. I'm unsure how many people are going to play. The entire starting 5 is questionable for tonight, and they have a game tomorrow. So I could see some of those guys getting ruled out. I could see a situation where if Boston mails it in early and saves some energy for tomorrow, just everything lines up for me looking towards the under. It's gone under, I believe, it went under the last meeting. And then also I'll share this query. Looking at after All-Star break, 2 elite teams, and when I say that, is greater than 60% win teams, division teams, one off 5 straight unders. They're about 74% to the under the last 24 years. So Celtics and Knicks under 222. It's already down from 223.5. I think it's moving in the right direction.
Skee Profit's joining us, everybody. It's $5 Tuesday over at WagerTalk. Every handicapper takes their feature play, makes it only $5. Skee, before we get into the Golden State Phoenix game, what is your $5 play?
In all honesty, like I told you guys, I had a night last night, so I'm late to the party. I will have one up very shortly. It's a lot of games that I like, and I'm gonna be firing away today. So by the time you check my page, it should be up there.
Skee, I'll tell you one thing, brother. As you age, you get better. I had a night last night too. Doesn't affect me anymore. I'm just an old man who yells at clouds. I want to ask you about this Boston team, this game tonight, and especially given that we really don't know who's going to start for Boston. But we will know at game time. If this game starts and we see that most of the starters on Boston are not sitting, is there an opportunity to take advantage of that in game?
In game, I would say yes. If most of their starters are not sitting, that means that the bench is going to be extremely weak. So I would wait until you see the rotation, the first set of guys go out, and then you live play on the Knicks. Maybe a live play on the first half to take advantage of that second quarter, or however it may be. But the bench, if the starters are out for Boston, will absolutely be weak tonight.
Skee Profit joining us. Skee, let's turn our attention to Golden State. They're on the road. They're playing Phoenix, and Phoenix has lost 6 games in a row, and a lot of these games have not been close at all. They just got blown out by the Knicks, 112-98, blown out by Boston, 123-103, blown out by Milwaukee by 10. Houston beat them by, I think, if I do the math correctly, 7,002. And they got blown out by Minnesota and Boston by 30. Wow. Now they play Golden State, which is a team that has lost 1 game in their last 7, and that was their last game to Houston by 10. Golden State is close to a double-digit favorite here, minus 9.5. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, the Suns have, they've given up a while ago. Probably, especially when Kevin Durant went down, and they're 2.5 games out of the playoffs. They're done. They've been playing absolutely no defense. If you just look at that, I mean, let's take a look at opponents' team totals without Durant in the lineup for Phoenix. They've gone over 14 out of 16 games. The last 6 games for Phoenix, you kind of mentioned some of those blowouts. They're allowing 128.6 points per game. They're just simply not even trying on the defensive end. Like I said, they've been the worst in the league. Not only is KD a great offensive player, but he's lengthy. He's a good defender too. And you look at this Warriors team, they're coming off of a really bad offensive night, and now they face a team that struggles to defend the three-point line. I can see Steph Curry lighting them up. I think this is a game where you go Golden State team total over 118.5. Phoenix has allowed 122 plus 5 of those last 6 without Durant. I think Golden State names their number tonight.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Skee Profit's joining us. We're lucky to have him. Skee, I know you got to run, and I know you've got to find picks for tonight. I'm really thankful you took time out of your day to do this. Tell us really quickly about your show you do with Ronald Kabang. It is sensational.
Yeah, you guys can catch us Sunday night through Thursday night. We're looking at all the weekday games in the association, and we just as soon as pretty much the last game for the night is ended, we go live, we look at the numbers, see where they're moving, and see where we can take advantage. So if you're a person who maybe is up late or up early and want to get ahead of some of these numbers, check out Ahead of the Spread with myself and Ronald Kabang at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Skee Profit, thanks for doing this. Ian Lights Out hops into the chat room. Ian, I haven't seen your name before. Thank you for joining us. He wrote, loving the new Blue Line podcast. And yeah, guys, if you haven't checked that podcast out, it's up now at WagerTalk TV. It's called the Blue Line Hockey Betting Podcast. I do it every day. We tape at 10 a.m. Eastern. I do it with Matthew Barnaby, 14 years as an NHL pugilist and a really talented sports bettor. Yesterday, we won every game across the board. I mean, literally, I think we went like 8-1 or something with our picks on yesterday's show. We take apart every single NHL game on the board, and it's a lot of fun, and it's super quick. Today's show was only 30 minutes long. Carmine Bianco joined us as well, gave out a couple of prop bets. So check that show out, The Blue Line. Also, Puck Time is up as well, and so is The Morning Wager. And The Morning Wager is outstanding. A really, really funny show. Mark Zeno and Brian Power do an incredible job. First Pitch as well. Dan, First Pitch goes today at 1 p.m.? No First Pitch today at 1 p.m. But there is a Masters edition of Tea Time coming up. We'll talk to Andy Lang about that. Guys, just to let you all know, we're switching things up over at WagerTalk today. We are going to be putting Gianni the Greek first moving forward. He was going to start first today, but Skee had an appointment and I had to get him in before he had to run. So Gianni, welcome to WagerTalk today for Tuesday, and you're going to be our first guest moving forward. I'm excited about that. Thank you, brother.
Me too. Pleasure's mine, my man. Pleasure's mine, especially now with baseball. So much stuff coming out early and good opportunity to make some money. I love baseball. Real quickly, I wanted to add, don't forget, here's what sticks out the most, and we were talking about it with somebody last night. Look to these teams that got out to a hot start. Not that they're going to regress right away, but look for spots, not to back them, but to fade them. Because when you look at the standings in Major League Baseball, remember, the number one team, the team that's going to finish in first place when the season's over, is barely going to win 60% of their games. In fact, last season, only one first place team won 60% of their games. That was the Dodgers. Every other division, just go through it and look. And what you'll find is Cleveland won the division, winning 57% of their games. Yankees won the division, 58% of their games. Houston, 54% of their games. Milwaukee, 57% of their games. Philly, 58% of their games. Only the Dodgers, and they managed to win 60.5%. So these teams, as good as they are, they're not going to win 2 out of 3 games. They're not going to win 3 out of 4 games. And that's where you're really able to take advantage of a lot of these great teams that are overpriced, or teams that got out way ahead and will come back to life. Keep an eye on those teams and look to take advantage, because they're usually overpriced, especially early on in the season.
So that's the other thing I wanted to mention is not only is a team who started the season 8-1 walking into a regression, which they are, and it might not be, on their 10th or 11th game, but the regression is coming. Not only is the regression coming and you'll have a chance to beat that team playing against them, but they're also going to have a premium on their heads, which will provide you with an even better victory when you beat them. So it's double as good to take a look at fading those teams. Gianni the Greek joining us, everyone. And I want to tell you guys, and I'm going to mention this from time to time because we have a lot of new listeners come in on a daily basis. And Gianni's segment is different to most. What we do with Gianni is a runner for many of the top betting syndicates in the world. Now, you guys probably watch social media and you see all these kids with their 16-team parlays, and you see these guys with their EV betting, and you see these guys that are looking for line value between 62 books on an odd screen that is delayed by 3 minutes. All of that stuff is total nonsense. However, it does create for great content. There are actual bettors out there that are betting $50,000 a game, $100,000 a game. There are bettors that are laying $10,000 bets on a daily basis. And there are syndicates that are beating the books regularly. These syndicates are who Gianni works for. He knows exactly where the smartest, wisest money is going in the world of sports betting on a daily basis. We bring him on the show to go through that with us every single day. Before we get into that, Gianni, tell us about these syndicates, because the social media and these kids with their 800-team parlays and their bullshit betting slips are really affecting the impression of gambling out there today. Tell us how much money these syndicates are actually betting, how good they are, and how come you have access to their information.
Well, real quickly, you're right. And that is exactly what's going on. It's sad because so many new bettors are entering the space and they have unrealistic expectations. That's all you have to do. You're going to cash that big parlay. You're going to hit 70% of your bets laying minus 110. And that's not reality. That's just not the truth of it. In fact, Dave Mason, who comes on our show all the time, just ask him. That's a guy that is at one of the biggest books on the planet. And he will tell you not 1% of bettors are profitable. It's 0.5% of betting accounts are actually profitable. But if you look at, Instagram and you look at Twitter, you would think that everybody's winning and the books are getting destroyed. That's just not the case. But there are professional bettors, even some sharps that don't move the markets, that make consistent living betting sports. And then there's the betting syndicates, the groups that I move money for that actually control the market. And what I mean by that is they've proven to have a long-term edge. So when they bet, the book's going to do the obvious. They're going to move the line towards that bias, towards what these guys bet. Number one, it's to stop other runners and other groups from piggybacking. But more importantly, it's to entice money the other way, because they want to be on the side of these groups, knowing they're going to win more than they lose. They're not going to win all the time, but they're going to win more than they lose. And even the very best, I promise you, the best that they do is about a 5% ROI year after year. That's it. but they make a ton of money because they're able to roll that money over and over again. If you're making that kind of return on investment and you're placing thousands of bets a year, you're going to turn a big profit. That's exactly what these aim to do. They're not looking for that lock. They're looking to take advantage of every inefficiency, knowing that when the dust settles, they have an edge and they're going to come out on top. They're looking for any type of market that is inefficient. They don't care about the Monday Night Football game. They don't care about the playoffs. They don't care about anything like that. They're looking for inefficient numbers, and then their problem is getting that money down. And that's where I come in, helping them get that money down. So I'm able to see exactly what they're doing. With that said, I don't have access to all these groups, but I've done it now long enough to be able to determine what stuff is manipulation, what stuff's legit. And then what I do, Prez, is every day I already have my leans circled from the night before where I like, what I like. And then as they come in, if they're on that side, boom, I know to bet more and I know to release that to subscribers. That's how I work that information. So I urge you every morning to already come with your list. I'm going to tell you the stuff that we bet overnight and the stuff that we've already bet this morning. And I'll let you know this is legit. This is sharp. This, you got to follow some line movement because it may be a case of manipulation. That's how you could use this information. With that said, don't be afraid to fade me because, again, even when they're running their hottest at minus 110, they may over like a 100 bet sample size. They may win 60% of their bets, but that's not no long-term results. Over 1,000 bets, these guys are looking to win 550, lose 450, minus the VIG. They come out 50 units every 1,000 bets. And they're not placing 5 bets a day. They're placing 15, 20, 25 bets a day. So they're able to get to that long-term a lot quicker than most of us. That's how they make their money. And you could pick away at it and do the exact same thing. As long as you're properly funded and don't overbet your edge, you can make a lot of money with the information.
Gianni the Greek joining us. We're going to find out exactly where those syndicates are betting in 1 second. I just want to make mention quick on this topic. You know, the key is to figure out, what are the red flags out there? And I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you see a person in front of their Lamborghini telling you they're a winning bettor, that's not true. If you see a person who rented a Bugatti for the day and took a whole lot of pictures and tells you they're a great bettor, it's just not true. If you see a person putting up a betting slip of their winning bets, they're losing all their money on a regular basis. If you see a person use the word lock, they're losers. Ultimately, if you see a person claim that they have one leg left of a 16-team parlay for $1 million and they're not going to hedge it, loser. So those are a bit of the red flags out there that you guys should watch for. The last red flag is if they don't shave, loser. Gianni, where are the syndicates putting their money today across all of the sports?
It's all about Major League Baseball. Like I said, until the playoffs come, ignore the NBA because the only strong stuff is the stuff that comes in late during the day. Like yesterday, I got a Knicks play over, sent that out to subscribers. I knew that's legit because those are information-based. Otherwise, they're betting overnights because they could move the market for small limits. You'll see the totals. They all move 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and then they come back the other way and set up middle. So be real careful betting NBA until the playoffs get here. It's all about Major League Baseball. Here's what they did. Overnights, 902, under 7.5, up to minus 120, St. Louis and Pittsburgh. You'll see 7 across the board right now. Under 7, minus 120, 125. You'll see 6.5 or 6s across the board right now because they took out the 7s, didn't continue betting it once it moved. Same thing. Remember what I talked about, 7, 9, and 11. Those are the totals you want to get on the right side of. 904, under 7.5, minus 125, up to minus 125, Dodgers, Washington. Got the 7, they backed off. Did the same thing with Miami and the Mets, game 906. Under 7.5, all the way good to minus 130 they were willing to accept, but not under 7. They wanted 7.5. And finally, another overnight, San Francisco, minus 115, minus 120. No follow through today. A team that did get follow through was the Boston Red Sox, laying the 175, laying the 180, and laying 185 again today. So it's a myth out there that the wise guys, the sharp bettors, the winners don't lay chalk in baseball. They do so all the time, every single day, but they're very selective when they do it. They follow up with a lot of dogs like 913 White Sox plus 175, 921 Minnesota plus 115, Minnesota plus 120. And if you look at the line move on Odds Logic, you'll notice they dummied up Kansas City a little bit, took 1 or 2 limit bets, got it up to where it's a nice price, then came in and blasted Minnesota at plus money. Same thing with Seattle. Seattle at even money, Seattle at minus 105, Seattle at minus 110. Finally, another one would follow through, Baltimore. Baltimore plus 110. Then again, I got it this morning at Baltimore plus 105. If they could get plus money on Baltimore, they're willing to take the bet. They think it's a coin flip at worst. And finally, the Athletics. I don't know if they're from Oakland. I don't know if they're from Sacramento, soon to be Las Vegas. Took the 130, took the 125. That happened this morning. Last night, they went under 8.5, up to minus 115. But at 8, they did not bet it. So again, you got to remember, numbers are everything. And once the number moves away from you, sometimes don't bet it. Sit back, wait for the next big bet. Always try to bet from a position of strength. And it's like any stock market. If you're buying at the top, that's not going to happen. Like right now with things dropping, Bitcoin dropping, Ethereum dropping. If you bought at the top at 109 because everybody was saying it's going to 200,000 this year, you have a tough decision to make now at 65, 70, 75, 80,000.
Hold.
Exactly. But you're in a position where you could hold because you don't need that money. Yeah. There's a lot of people that just were dreaming it's going to double my money. They invested. Now they're down 30, 40%. What do? Do you take a risk or you just eat the loss? Don't find yourself in that position. Don't chase bad bets.
Gianni, I gave you one of these. You know why? We got 4 more guests to come. Andy, Paul, Carmine, and Steve Merrill will end the show. Gianni, it's $5 Tuesday. What do you have going for the clients tonight?
4% Major League Baseball. Right now, number 1 in baseball, all baseball, because I give out college baseball as well. That's a sport you could destroy. We've done really well. Currently up over 30 units. Nice ROI as well, 16% ROI. So I'm going to throw 4% out there. But more importantly, if you sign up, you get the blackjack now. The class is tonight. The 3rd class is tonight. You've only missed the first 2. You're not behind at all. We review when we start. I spend 30 minutes reviewing where we're at. So if you join me today, sign up today, you get access to the blackjack course as well. And 5% in UFC is already up. There's a package there with a 5% and a 4%. I love my 5% coming off another 5% winner last week in MMA. Only 21 or 22 I've released in the last 365 days. 72% on those, 45%, 45 units, and over 40% ROI. So I've been selective. They've been profitable. Baseball, MMA, that's what I'll be doing most of the damage of over the next few months as we await football to come meet us.
Guys, Gianni the Greek, he'll be our first guest moving forward every day. And if you've never bet Gianni, take a risk, take a gamble. That's what we do. We've got a entire year betting pass. It's normally $2,000 for the year. It is now $1,188. That's $99 a month. It also includes his Advantage Blackjack course. You're going to make that money back fast. I would definitely recommend being involved in the Gianni money-making train. Huge offer, 1 year for only $99 a month, and it comes with his blackjack course. I'm Lawrence Presman. My clients won last night. I had my 5% play in NHL on the Winnipeg Jets. It cashed. I have a 4% play up tonight in the NHL. That is my $5 play. We'll talk about it a little later. The great Andy Lang joining us right now. My brother, how are you?
I'm good. I know we're limited on time. Can I piggyback off of 2 things Gianni said real quick before we get into place? Of course.
Yes.
He said 2 things that really rang true. The first is the social media thing. I'm working with somebody right now. He's a buddy of mine. He keeps going on social media and saying, why can't I hit these big parlays like I see on social media? I turned $10 into $5. Why does everyone else hit him and I don't. So
Yeah.
he keeps chasing these, and comparing yourself to these Twitter and social media bettors will cost you a lot of money. They are photoshopped bet slips most of the time.
Yes, they are.
Comparing yourself to other bettors is going to be the death of your bankroll. Focus inside, focus on your own bankroll. Don't worry about what's going on the outside. I'm trying to break him of this habit. And the second thing, my bankroll was transformed once I stopped worrying about the juice as much as I did. Johnny said that the syndicates lay juice. Once I stopped, I used to be like, I'm only playing minus 110s, minus 115s. Once I said, you know what, there's real value in these minus 160s, even minus 170s, my bankroll went through the roof. Absolutely through the roof. We are told, no, you can't lay that much juice. Well, if it wins, yes, you can lay that much juice. That was a very big moment in my bankroll and my financial success once I really, really loosened up my juice tolerance. So 2 things that Gianni said I want to piggyback off of, because I believe he's 100% correct, and you are too.
Andy, and you go back to the Muhammad Ali era, and sports betting was very heavy boxing betting at that time period. Most of the best bettors in the world, most of the syndicates, I mean, you want to talk about juice tolerant, they were taking minus 800s, minus 1200s. So, back in the day, the best bettors in the world had no issue laying 10-1. That's for sure. And in regards to your,
the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather, it's probably one of the most legendary bets in the last decade. That was minus 800. The sharps all said this is a bargain. They're like, wait, I don't care about minus 800. Of course we're gonna lay that. So, follow the money, follow the big times. Those guys are laying juice. It's got to be the right spot, but there's absolutely value in it.
And Andy, really quick, and then we'll get into your prop bets. Your friend who posts those social media, why can't I hit those? Reminds me, it reminds me of a post I put up on Facebook about 15 years ago. There was rumors in my neighborhood that everybody was swinging and that I lived in a swinging neighborhood. My parents called me on the phone and they're like, Lawrence, do you get invited to all these swinger parties? I hear there's so many swinger parties in the neighborhood. So I put up a whole thing on Facebook about how I have never been invited to one of these swinger parties. What the hell? I have a hot wife. I have mad skills. I wrote this whole, ad selling me and my wife to be invited to these swinger parties. And alas, still nothing.
Never
bro.
invited.
So
never invited to us. Never invited.
I think all the information was fake, dude. I don't think there were any swinger parties in my neighborhood, because if this guy is not invited to a swinger party, there is not a swinger party. Okay. Let's get into the Masters betting. You got a prop bet for us. Billy Horschel over DJ. Makes sense to me. I'll just tell everybody, DJ who? Why?
Yeah. Yeah. I got some stats that are going to blow you away here. Dustin Johnson has one top 20 finish on Live Tour this year. Prez, this is a field with like 55, 56 golfers, and he's not making the top 20. He's openly said he doesn't practice as much. He looks completely out of shape compared to where he was years ago on the PGA Tour. Missed cut and 48th the last 2 years at the Masters. This is a former winner not too long ago. He just kind of lost the edge here a little bit. Horschel's playing pretty good. 2 top 10 finishes, including 4th place the last tournament. But here's the dagger in this play here, Prez. This year, Billy Horschel is plus 0.97 total strokes gained on the PGA Tour. Okay? Dustin Johnson is minus 0.41 total strokes gained on the Live Tour. On those cupcake courses, he's not even plus total strokes gained. Billy Horschel over Dustin Johnson. I'm looking to fade some of these Live guys. DJ's at the top of that list. I'll take Horschel over DJ.
Andy Lang, now I got people Titans just wrote, Prez, you wouldn't share your wife. And I was like,
Good point.
Kate Upton, Charlize Theron, Margot Robbie. I think there's circumstances where I would share my wife. Just throwing that out there. Now, Vivian, if you're listening to this podcast, this is all a ruse, and I would never in a million years share you. Okay. You got an NBA bet and a UFC bet. What is it?
Yeah, we'll do both of them here real quick. We're going back to Rudy Gobert over 12.5 points. We talked about him last week. He's flown over this total easily, gone over in 7 straight games, averaging 17 points in those 7 games. He's getting 11 shot attempts per game, and because his shots are at the rim, he's shooting 71.6% from the field. He's adding 3 points per game from free throws. Milwaukee gives up 21.5 points per game to centers, and Gobert had 20 points in February against Milwaukee. That was a game Brook Lopez played center. Lopez, not the defensive guy he was years ago. He's playing again tonight. Look for Gobert to have a good game. And then you can get Jandaroba minus 155 right now over Yan Xiaonan. Winner probably gets a title shot. This is all about the wrestling here, Prez. Jandaroba, nonstop chain wrestling. Yan Xiaonan has a really good reach, but Jandaroba is going to get through that reach, and once she gets Yan on the ground, we've seen Yan struggle against Weili Zhang in her last fight. Tabitha Ricci really let Yan Xiaonan off the hook. She didn't try to wrestle Yan at all. That's her weakness. Jandaroba is not going to screw around. She's going to get this ground. It's going to be a boring fight once Jandaroba gets it to the ground, but I like her to win by decision. You're minus 155. That line's already moving. I expect this to be minus 200 by the time it gets closer to fight time. So Jandaroba, not an exciting fight, but she's going to win by decision.
Guys, if you're liking the show, hit that like button. Andy, I made it 6 shows in a row without losing my mind. I lost my mind today. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
We veered into swinging, and yeah, I went 6 good days, dude. The over and under was at 7.5. So all the people who bet the under won. So yeah, Dan Alexander it was a solid streak. The streak is over. We'll start it again tomorrow. Andy, what do you got for the clients on $5 Tuesday?
Okay, so tea time just went up where we break down the Masters. That's myself and Nick Borman. So you need all your Masters information. We got you covered there. $5 Tuesday is a Masters play. You can grab that. That play is available on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Bet365. But honestly, I don't think I can oversell this enough. The 7-day pass this week is what everyone needs to get. We have a 5% UFC play that's up. We have a 5% PFL play that is up. You're going to get all the Masters plays. You're going to get all of our NBA plays, which we're now 46-19 run in the NBA. You're going to get all of our cricket plays, all of our lacrosse plays, all of our tennis plays. We're up 21 units in the last 7 days. This is the biggest week so far in 2025 for ourselves betting and for clients. We had this circled on our calendar that we wanted to do a 7-day special. You're going to get all these plays, not one, but 2 5% best bets. It's WT.buzz/AL. There's no promo code needed. Take advantage. This is our biggest week in 2025. I cannot wait. It's going to be a great week, Prez.
Yes, it is. Andy Lang, everyone. I did 3 shows with him today. One on the blue line, one with Carm at Puck Time, and this one. Thank you, Andy. Really appreciate your time, my brother. We got Paul Motty joining us. He's our cricket expert. He's incredible at the sport. He also does politics and snooker. How are you, Paul?
I'm okay, Lawrence. It's not been an easy, I'm honest with you, in the IPL. Been funny results. It's all over the place, but a long way to go. You've got to stick with the systems, follow and trust this strategy. And the big news is that Friday we really doubled down because we've got a second tournament running current with the because normally you have the Pakistan Super League and then you have a couple of weeks break and then the Indian League. But because we had the ICC trophy in February in Pakistan, they're clashing, which means that Friday we're going to have a minimum of 2 games per, some days 3, some days 4, and I'll just be doing all my bets in one stage every day on all of the IPL and PSL games. And I'm also putting up a couple of free outright picks for the Pakistan Super League.
Paul Motty joining us, not the best microphone in the world, but he doesn't pick microphones, he picks winners. Boom! Boom! Come on! Okay, breathe. Pakistan Super League starts on Friday. Politics, Dow Jones crash. What do you got for us today? What free bets are you giving us?
Okay, so the free bets I'm giving you for the Pakistan Super League. It's a team event. Betting's very wide open. It always, but I don't think that's accurate. I look at this as quite a goal in certain franchise or another. First, the defending champions, Islamabad United. I'm putting them up with 2% play, but plus 330 with DraftKings. Islamabad, they were sending in with a very good squad, just fell short, and then finally came good last year. But I think they've got a much stronger squad this time round. They've made two really good signings. Matt Shaw, the Australian opener, and Rassi Badgood, the South African opener. Now, you know, the Pakistan Super League is largely inferior to the Premier League. But then you've got two road players who could get into most teams in the Premier League, and they're joining the defending champions in the PSL, replacing two ageing overseas openers in Martin
Paul Motty, I got to cut you off, brother. It's not you. It's the connection. We just can't hear you. And I apologize for that. You and I will talk offline later this afternoon, but we got to keep the show moving because we just don't have a good connection. But guys out there, if you've never played Paul, you should check him out. These periphery sports are unbelievable. I mean, Andy Lang comes on every day and talks about darts and how good it is. Paul bets cricket and snooker, and he is incredible at these two sports. We did a lot of due diligence in bringing him onto our team. And cricket is actually the second most bet sport on the planet. I don't know if you guys realize that. It's also the second most watched sport on the planet. The first most watched sport on the planet is soccer. The Champions League quarterfinals is this very week. Carmine Bianco is joining us right now to take apart an important game between PSG and Aston Villa. Carm, welcome to WagerTalk Today. Always good to see you, my friend. And how do we take apart this soccer game?
It is football to us Europeans. Prez, come on. But I get it. It's soccer in North America.
When did you become European?
When I have an Italian passport, so that would make me a European. But
sure,
with that said,
sure.
I will be in Italy, and I will be at a game on April the 27th at the Allianz Stadium in Turin to see a Serie A Italian game between Juventus and Monza. But with that said, we're here to talk PSG and Aston Villa. This is a game that goes tomorrow. It's the quarterfinal stages, and these are leg one games with the reverse fixtures going next week. PSG opened up, and they're sitting at about 266. I think they're the biggest favorite on the board right now across the four games. Aston Villa almost plus 7-1, 678. The draw here is plus 419. Total sits here at 3, shaded to the over 25 cents. I'm going to look at a couple different plays in this game because laying that much vig on a three-way line is tough. On a two-way line, it's a little different, but on a three-way line, it is much more different. One that I really like is if you like the total in this game, and I think there's going to be some goals in this game. I think PSG are one of the favorites to win this tournament. I really like them. And a great setup for them as well, too, should they get by Aston Villa, who are a bit of a surprise to be here at this point in this tournament. But you can get, and this is over at DK, you can get PSG to win and over 2.5 goals at minus 120. So instead of laying 25 cents on the over 3 and possibly that landing on 3 and you getting a push, you would get a win. PSG is going to win this game. Absent of some red card or some change, PSG is by far the better team between these two. And another prop that I really like in this one is a goal scorers prop. Ousmane Dembele for PSG. I love the season this guy is having. 26 games in League One. He scored 21 goals, assisted on 5 others. And in Champions League thus far this season, 10 games, he scored 7 times. He's having a phenomenal season, not only in domestic league play, but in Champions League as one of the leading goal scorers. And I think he's a big part of the game tomorrow. So he is plus 100 for any time goal. You can get probably above plus 500 to have him score the first goal, but an anytime goal is good enough for me. Ousmane Dembele to score even money, and PSG to win and over 2.5. And you can find that, like I said, at DK and some other books as well too, under the game parlays section.
Carmine Bianco, everyone. Awesome stuff, dude. Love having you on. You're a soccer and hockey betting god and a better guy. We're playing a poker tournament together on Thursday. Andy Lang will be hosting the show then. Carm, it's $5 Tuesday. What do you have going for the clients?
Yeah, there's one Champions League play up. It is not the one I gave out for free on yesterday's WagerTalk Today. It's another play, but the one I gave out yesterday is a client play as well too, just to let you know. But one play up for $5. It is a 3 p.m. game. And then once that game goes off the board, there's a $5 play for the NHL tonight. That'll go live at 3 p.m. It is loaded in the back end for NHL subscribers already. It's a 4% best bet. We're off a 4% winner on Monday night with the Calgary Flames in regulation. They got the job done. A bunch of NHL plays as well too. There's another 3-pack up at regular pricing of $29. So maybe a one-day all access and get everything on today's card.
Brilliant stuff. Carmine Bianco joining us. You can hear him on Puck Time every day, 11 a.m. Eastern. That show is live now. You can hear it at WagerTalk TV. Myself and Andy Lang join him. Guys, I want to read a quick couple of things. Hike, Haik, is in the chat room. I've never seen your name before. Greatly appreciate you in. He writes, "What's up, Prez? I love this puck line. Thank you for the unders on hockey yesterday. I parlayed them and hit big." Man, when I hear that stuff, it makes my day. I just absolutely love when you guys take time out of your day to thank us for bets and information that we provide you. It means the absolute world to me. Justin P., one of our regular listeners, writes, "IPL snooker, are we going to have a fishing expert on here next?" Justin, if there's betting on fishing and you got a guy who can beat the books, I want him on the show. I don't think you guys understand. This is not a sports show. This is a show about making money. And one of the greatest of all time is joining us right now, Steve Merrill. How are you, brother? What's going on?
Doing well, Prez. Yeah, I've always said the winnings are just as green. The cash is just as green, whether it's fishing or NBA or NFL, right? It all spends the same. They don't check the currency at the supermarket to ask how you won that bet.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. Steve, we got 3 things to talk about before we end. I do want to ask the people, please hit the like button. And guys, we are about 800 or so people away from 200,000 subscribers. This has to happen this week. I've got a huge bet with Gianni Detroit that this happens by the end of the week. So we need to have 200,000 subscribers by the end of the week for me to win that bet. Make it happen. Let's go. Steve, what I want to know before we get into the LA Lakers Oklahoma City game is, what do we do with NBA moving forward until the end of the season? There are teams that are in position, won't move. There are teams that are on the bubble, need to win. And there are teams that have quit on the season. How do we know which is which and take advantage of that moving forward?
Yeah, I'll be honest. It doesn't change much because the entire NBA season has been just question mark after question mark of which team's going to show up on a given night, which players are in the lineup, which team is motivated. So I think it's the same type of handicap. You just maybe look at different metrics. Like you said, some teams might rest guys sooner now because they've locked up certain playoff spots, where other teams will continue to play hard. I do think, it's an adage in sports that must-win teams are very overrated. I always say this in the NFL in December. If you blindly play teams out of the playoffs against teams that must win in the NFL, you've made money in December for decades. There's a few reasons why. First of all, the line is usually inflated several points for the need. And I've always said if a team is as good enough as they need to be to win when they have to be, they wouldn't be in a must-win situation. With that said, NBA is a little bit different than the NFL because you can pretty much be assured that those teams that have to win to get in are going to probably play their A lineup and play whoever they can. So, once again, you're reading between the lines. A lot of times I wait until 2 or 3 Eastern to release my NBA plays. I think this season has been trickier than ever. I'll be honest. I can't wait for the playoffs to begin because hopefully this load management crap will end at that point. But look at the lineup tonight. 10 games on the board, and 3 of them we have at least, actually 4 of them we have a 14-point favorite or more in 40% of the games tonight. That's just the modern NBA, and it's just been crazy.
Well, let's discuss one of them right now, and it's fully understandable given the injury situation for the LA Lakers. No LeBron, no Vincent, no Reeves, no Finney-Smith, no Doncic, and most importantly, Bronny has an illness. They're playing OKC, who just don't lose games, even though they have lost 2 in a row and won to the Lakers. Minus 15.5 of the home team, 64-15 on the year, a total of 226.5. How do we bet this game, Steve Merrill?
Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to do the last segment today was so we could get that 12:30 Eastern NBA injury report, which you just summarized, Prez. Yeah, Lakers look like they're not taking this game serious, right? And that's what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Doncic questionable, but when you see Bronny, LeBron, all those other names, all these guys questionable, Austin Reeves questionable, makes you wonder if they're going to show up or not tonight. And keep in mind, they were an 8.5-point underdog in that game on Sunday, and they won by 27 at OKC. That was the go-get-'em game, in my opinion. Lakers aren't going to beat them back-to-back games in OKC. They know that. So if you're not going to win the game, they don't care about covering, right? Straight-up wins all they care about.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if any of those guys play. They're all listed as questionable as of 12:30 Eastern. I don't expect it, and the betting market sure doesn't either. This line opened 8.5, which is what the Sunday line was, and it's now 15.5. It's steaming higher as we do it live here on WagerTalk TV. If you're going to play it, you better lay it. Yes, you're paying a premium, but do you really want to get in front of, as you said, the best NBA team off back-to-back losses? And to put that in perspective, it's not like something's broken with the Thunder. They'd won 11 in a row and went 10-1 against the spread the previous 11 before the back-to-back losses at Houston, a very good Houston team, and a dangerous Lakers team. If you're going to play it, you're laying it tonight with the 15.5 with the Thunder.
Steve Merrill joining us, one of the best sports bettors on the planet. Steve, you are always good for a promo. It's $5 Tuesday. Before we get into the Houston-Seattle baseball game, what do you have going for the clients?
Yeah, you can get my top best bet tonight for just $5. It's an instant 80% discount because it's $5 Tuesday. If you follow along and been wanting to try one of my plays, it's an excellent opportunity to do so because you're getting a $25 best bet for just $5 tonight, 80% discount with $5 Tuesday. Of course, if you're ready to take a serious long-term investment approach, how about getting every play for a full year for just over $1? That's even better than $5 Tuesday. And with promo code SM365, you get an instant $811 discount on a 1-year all access. That gets the entire NBA playoffs coming up, all of next year's regular season, all of next year's college basketball, and all of next year's college and pro football, and basically all of this year's baseball in about a month next year. This is a great time to get on board. The NBA playoffs are a couple weeks away. Baseball is here. We had more than doubled our all-sport client bankroll by the end of August last year because the baseball and the NBA playoffs were so strong. Now is the time to get on board. $1 a play, promo code SM365, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. You can get there quicker with that shortcut you see on your screen, WT.buzz/SM.
Steve, let's talk Houston, Seattle. They're playing against each other. Seattle minus 120. They expect a low-scoring game. The total is 7. Both of these teams have not started the season well. 4-6 for Houston, 4-7 for Seattle. How are you betting this game?
Yeah, I'm seeing Valdez listed for Houston. Wanted to get some confirmation on that. Castillo expected to go for Seattle tonight. This is the late game at 9:40 Eastern. And we have seen some money come in on Seattle. I think now that it looks like Valdez is going. The Astros overnight opened as about a $1.15 favorite. They're now an underdog. Houston's about a $1.15, $1.20 home favorite. I agree with that sharp money move. As you said, should be a low-scoring game with the under 7 here. Two teams, mediocre current form, but I think Castillo holds the edge in this one, and I look for him to have a nice outing here. 2 starts this season. He's given up just 4 earned runs in 12 innings. And once again, I want to get confirmation on the Astros, but it looks like it might be Valdez. Either way, I like Seattle here. I agree with the sharp money move as a small favorite. Lay the -120 with the Astros and Castillo tonight on Tuesday.
Steve Merrill, outstanding stuff. What a show, everyone. What a morning. I am now, Steve, I've now finished my 3rd show. And I was saying to Dan, I could run a marathon and not be as exhausted as doing 3 shows in a row. People don't understand what I'm saying because you're just sitting on a chair. But lunch and a nap ahead.
Prez, how far away are we from 200K on the subscribers? You said just a couple hundred?
Yeah, and we need to do it this week. I got a big bet with Gianni Detroit on hitting 200K this week, and I don't want to. I've never lost a bet to Gianni Detroit. I'm like 16-0 or something. So,
well, yeah, Johnny might be on the right side there because I did my NCAA Finals video last night. The Final Four video Saturday got 15,000 views, but I'm kind of tapped out now, man. There's not a lot going on this week, so hate to tell you, I might not be able to help you too much with that one. But I think we get there with this show alone. Prez, this show alone. Although I don't know, most of our viewers have probably already subscribed, right? So it's tough to say.
We're getting a lot of new listeners from the new hockey show that myself and Matthew Barnaby are doing.
That's true.
Matthew is tweeting it out. He's got over 90,000 Twitter followers. So we are getting a lot of new subscribers from that. So we'll see what happens, brother. But really do appreciate you doing this with me today. And obviously we'll see you next week. Steve Merrill, everyone. Guys, real quick, thank you for watching today's show. Tomorrow, we're going to do a real deep dive into the Masters tournament. Sean Alvarez and Nick Borman will be on. Obviously, we're going to start the show with Gianni the Greek and where the syndicates are betting. We're going to talk NHL, baseball, and NBA. But if you do want to know how to attack the Masters, we're going to do a very deep dive into that. There is already a show up called Tea Time, WagerTalk TV. Andy Lang hosts that show with Nick and Sean, and that's also a deep dive into the Masters. We have, this is the last day for the NHL NBA special. I really recommend you guys use this on me. $195 for my NHL playoffs, and you get my NHL regular season for free. I know there's only 9 or 10 games left. But that's still an opportunity to make some money. I'm the #1 NHL expert over at WagerTalk. I'm on a 12-2 run. I have a 4% play up tonight for my clients. It's only $5. But this is the last day for that special, only $195. Lots of love, everyone, man. What a fun day. What a great show. Shout out to everyone who joined us. Carmine, Paul, Andy, Gianni, Steve Merrill, Dan Skee Profit. On behalf of Dan Alexander and myself, we'll see you all tomorrow. Let's win some bets.